Hi, this is Dan Heisman, and we're here with another video to help you improve your chess game. We're going to do another Think Out Loud game against a mid-level computer. I thought today we would show the analysis, but I'd try to make a little bit of an emphasis on what my plans are. So it's a 45-45 game. As I always tell people, I'm going to play too fast for the time limit because we want to make it about a 30-minute video, and if you play 45-45 correctly, it'll take a lot longer than my normal video. So I'm going to be playing a little bit fast. All right, I'd like to play e4, see what the computer does. I might take the computer out of the book, or I might not, depending on what defense it plays. Let's take a look. All right, so I'm going to play e4. Let's see what happens. e4. Okay, Sicilian. All right, should I take the computer right out of the book and play something crazy? Or should I try to... I mean, the computer's pretty decent if I outbook it. It's kind of fun more to not outbook it. I could play a Grand Prix attack. I could play a closed Sicilian. I'm sure it's all booked up on all those guys. I could play, I think last time he played a Sicilian, I played b3 to take him out of the book. And he played just terrible, and I beat him really nicely. So maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe let's do something. I normally don't play like closed Sicilian, so let's do that just to see what happens. And we'll maybe even play a strange move order just to see if the computer gets it here. All right, so let's play knight c3. Knight c6 is normal. And now, usually g3 is open Sicilian, so let's play d3 first to see if that gets it out of the book. d3. e6, all right. So he's going to break in the center. I'll play g3. Bishop e7, bishop g2, just trying to develop my pieces. Queen a5. All right, so do I want to play f4 and then knight f3? Or do I want to play knight g2 or something? Let's play f4 just for the fun of it. f4. d6, knight f3. Bishop f6, hitting the knight. I could just give him that pawn and get the bishop here by just castling, but I don't see any reason I need to do that. So let's play bishop d2. If he hits my b pawn, I can always play like rook b1 or something. So let's do that. Bishop to d2. There he's hitting my pawn. Can I play knight b5, knight d5? If I play knight d5, he takes my b pawn. I play knight c7 check. All right, so knight d5. What's going on knight d5? Knight d5, I'm hitting the queen, and I'm threatening the check and getting the rook. And if I check, he also can't castle. If he takes the pawn, I can't play knight c7 check right away because after king over, knight takes a8, queen takes a1. So knight d5, queen takes b2. I'd have to play rook b1. Then he could take my rook and then take the knight. I think that's okay for me, although it's not wonderful. So I'm looking at the line knight d5, queen b2, rook b1, queen takes b1, queen takes b1, e takes d6, e takes d6, knight somewhere. Interesting line. All right, so knight d5. I think he has to do that. If he doesn't play after rook, knight d5, queen b2, rook b1, queen a2, I simply play knight c7 check, and I win the rook, and he might be getting the exchange out of it, but it's not that good a position for him. Or I could just castle here with a good game, or even play rook to b1 with a good game. Should we go for the fun of it with knight to d5? Knight d5, queen takes b2. Can't play knight c7 check, king d8, knight takes a8 because of queen takes a1. So therefore, knight d5, queen takes b2, rook b1, queen takes b1, queen takes b1, e takes d5, e takes d5. And I have gotten the queen for a knight and a rook. All right, let's do it. Looks interesting. Knight d5. All right, queen b2. I think bishop c3 is no good. So rook b1 is forced. Rook b1. Yep, Rook pawn takes, same issue. I take the queen. He takes the rook, and I take the pawn. Transposing into the line we just saw, pretty much. All right, pawn takes pawn. If he plays knight e7, I can move my knight and hold the pawn. All right, so let's take the pawn. He hits my pawn. So now I need to hold my pawn on d5. I could play c4. I can also... Yeah, I think c4 is best. That way... Yeah, c4 looks good. All right, let's play c4. Knight f6. I should just castle. If he plays bishop d4 check, I can always take it. Queen b3, queen a4 check. Queen b3 hits the bishop, hits the b pawn. If I play queen b3 followed by queen b5 check, am I winning a pawn? Probably not. All right, I think I should just castle. Or I could play queen e2. Queen e2, he could still castle, and if I play queen takes e7, he has rook e8. That's a good trick to look out for. So I'd like to stop him from castling, but I don't think I can. So let's castle. Bishop g4. All right, I would like to get rid of his bishop pair. I can play h3. I could also stop him from castling by playing rook e1 first. It's kind of a nice thing to do to stop him from castling. Rook e1 first. If he plays king d7, I can play h3 or queen a4 check. All right, so I think pinning that knight first is a really good idea. So let's do that. Rook to e1. So my plan is to stop him. All right, so he's checking me. I don't think it matters whether I go king f1 or king h1. I'm probably a little bit safer on f1, but I don't think it makes a difference. Okay, let's play king to h1. b5. I can kind of ignore that. All right, so what happens now if I threaten to mate him with queen e2? Queen e2, knight g8. Am I making progress there? I could take that pawn and he can't take a... If I play queen e2 and he plays knight g8, I can play c takes b5, winning a pawn. And he can't play knight takes d5. And then maybe I can play a4. So I think queen e2 wins the b pawn. I can't play c takes b right away because of knight takes d5, although that's probably good for me. But I think queen e2 first. He has to play knight to g8. Then c takes b5. And then I could follow up with something like a4. Or I could even play h3. Looks pretty good. Let's do that. My plan is to tie him up, queen e2. There's that knight g8. Now my plan was to play c takes b5, getting a 2-on-1 outside pass pawn majority. Then I'm going to follow up with something like, and if he castles queenside, I can attack him there. Yeah, let's just take that pawn. C takes b5. Rook b8, okay. The plan is to hold it with a4. He can't castle queenside now. Let's just hold the pawn, a4. Rook d8. All right, so now my plan was to play h3. If he moves the bishop away, I can always play knight takes d4, getting the bishop pair. And I can probably move my kingside pawns up and harass his pieces on the kingside. His king's all tied up. He can't castle kingside. He can't castle queenside. I want to keep him away from playing bishop f6. I don't think I can do that with h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop f6, but then I could play maybe g4, g5, or maybe just bishop to a5. He can always play rook d7 here and move the king. I'm not too worried about that. All right, let's play h3. That's the plan. h3. He has to take. We're going to take with the bishop to keep the pressure on the e-file. Bishop takes f3. threatening maybe bishop. All right, so he moves out of the pin so his knight can move. Now we want to keep the knight out of the game. Maybe play g4. Looks good. He can't move his knight to f6 because I take. g4 also stops bishop f6 because then I can play g5. My bishop on f3 is a little weak, but I can always remount it around the other way with maybe bishop to d1 or even play g5 and bishop g4. If I play g4 and he plays h5, I can play g5. That looks good. All right, let's play g4. Keep him tied up. Rook there. He's not threatening to move the knight. If I play g5, if he plays h6, I can play king g2. H takes g, h takes g. This rook gets in the game, I guess. g5 keeps the knight out of the game. Can always recapture. If he plays knight f5, I can take the rook mate. Yeah, let's play g5. g5. Okay, rook over. All right, now I could play bishop to a5, bishop c7, and I could also play bishop g4, and my two bishops are going to harass his rook and the d-pawn. So I think bishop to g4 is good. Let's analyze bishop g4. If he plays f5, I can play bishop takes f5, knight takes f5, queen e6. Does that work? Probably not, but it's interesting. Is it better to play bishop a5 first, threatening bishop c7 and bishop d6? Then if he moves the rook to c8, I have bishop g4, and if he plays f5, I have g takes f5 en passant hitting the rook. That looks pretty good. All right, I think bishop a5 first. Looks like the right move order. If he plays knight f5, threatening knight g3 check, I can just play king to... Well, if I play king g2, so let's analyze that line. Bishop a5, knight f5, king g2. He could play knight e3. But then I have bishop c7, rook moves, bishop takes d6 check. That looks awfully terrible for him. Bishop a5, knight f5, king g2 to stop knight g3 check. If he plays knight h4 check, I play king g3. If he plays knight f5 check, I play king h2. If he takes the bishop, I take back. Looks pretty good. Let's try the other move order. Bishop to g4, f5. I can't take it. Well, I can take it. Bishop takes, rook, knight takes, queen e6 is probably okay, but I don't think I would do that. If he plays f5, it keeps his knight out of f5. Then I can just play the bishop back to f3. If I play bishop f5, can he play knight d5? Bishop f5, probably. All right, let's play bishop to a5. That looks like an active way to play. There's that knight f5 that I predicted. All right, king g2 is a move. I could also play king h2, so that if he plays knight h5, it's knight h4, it's not check. King h2, can he play bishop g1 check? No. If he plays knight e3, I have bishop to c7. I also have bishop g4. I think king h2 is the right move. King h2, if he plays h6, is he threatening anything? H takes g, rook somewhere? I don't think so. All right, let's play king to h2. Bishop there. All right, but I can threaten to remove the guard with bishop g4, but then he plays the other knight to e7, knight e7, and then bishop d2. Well, bishop c7, rook moves, bishop takes d6 check, knight takes d6, queen takes e3. That looks pretty good. And I'm making progress, winning that d-pawn. All right, I think that's what I'm going to do. Bishop c7. Well, he could play bishop f4 check. Then I play king to... Well, do I really want him to play bishop f4 check? All right, so we should really look at bishop f4 check. Bishop f4 check. Is that a problem? Bishop c7, bishop f4 check guards the d pawn. That's a problem. Okay. So I got to be a little more clever about things. Bishop g4, knight e7. Then I can play rook f1. Bishop f4, bishop checks. King to g2, knight h4 check. King back. I think that's bad for him. I think bishop g4 is more accurate. Bishop g4, if knight e7, then bishop c7. No, then rook f1 first. If bishop f4 check, then king to h... No, I can't go king to h1 because knight g3. King to g2, knight h4 check, then king h1. I think that's correct. All right, let's play that mine. Bishop g4. All right, he checks me. The plan was to play king to g2. I could also play king g1, but king g2, if he plays knight checks, I play king f3. If he plays bishop g4, I have bishop c7. I'm losing a pawn, but that's the way it goes. King g2, knight h4 check, then something like king h1, and his knight's not very good. All right. King g2, knight g3. I have maybe just queen f3. All right, king g2 looks right. King g2. Knight checks. That's what I thought. So now my plan was to play king f3, bishop takes g5, bishop c7, rook moves, bishop takes d6 check. Looks good. He can't guard the bishop with a knight. If he plays knight takes d5, I play bishop c7, knight takes c7, king takes f4. I guess he could do that, but I don't. Well, I'm in check, so I have to do that anyway. All right, let's play king f3. King f3. Bishop takes there. All right, so he doesn't have any checks, and I can play bishop c7, and then play bishop takes d6 check. Looks pretty crushing. Could then play maybe bishop f4 after that. All right, let's do that. Bishop c7. Rook there. Bishop takes. Knight e7. All right, so his knight's pinned. And now, to pin his other knight, I'm going to play bishop takes. Let's see, if I play bishop takes c5, he plays knight takes d5. Do I have anything? Maybe I should play bishop f4. Bishop f4, bishop takes, king takes, then knight d5. Is that better? I don't think so. I think I should just play bishop c5, keep the pressure on. Can I play h4 first? h4 to keep the bishop off the knight on d6. h4 if bishop h6. What else could he do? h4, bishop h6. Yes, that gets the bishop. So h4, bishop h6, bishop takes c5. If knight takes d5, then bishop d7. And if the rook moves, then bishop takes e7 check. So h4, if bishop takes h4, queen takes e3, wins 2 pieces for rook. If he plays knight takes g4 first, I have a pleasant choice between h takes g5 and king takes g4. I think h4 looks like a good move. All right, let's play h4. He takes it. All right, 2 pieces for a rook in this kind of position looks good. His knight's pinned. Queen takes e3, bishop takes e1, queen takes e1, knight is pinned. Threatening bishop takes c5 and threatening bishop d7. All right, that's got to be a win. I don't see what he can do. Queen takes e3. Okay. Do I play bishop d7 first, or do I play queen takes e1? I don't think it matters. Can't be bad to play queen takes e1. Bishop d7 wins right away. He can't move the rook, but he'll save the bishop. Let's just take the bishop. f6. All right, now we have that bishop d7 idea. If he plays king f7, I have queen f7 check. I think winning the house. Bishop d7, king f7, queen e6 check. If king f8, bishop takes e8. If king g6, then bishop takes e8, rook takes e8, bishop takes e7. All right, this is good. Bishop d7. Queen e6 check. Okay. Take the rook with check. Take the knight. Resigns is good. I'll just push my d-pawn. Okay. Is it bishop takes f6? Does that lead to mate? Probably everything leads to mate. Doesn't matter. Let's just get a queen. Okay. All right, just take him off as long as we don't stalemate him. We're in good shape. All right. When in doubt, push the c-pawn. I'm sure I have mate in 3 or 4 here. Do I want to take the h-pawn? Probably. Don't need to think about these things. King there. Pawn push. I'm sure I have mate in... Computer's going to say, you had mate in 4 and you didn't play it. Probably the right idea here is to cut off his king. He checks me. I'll take it. All right, another queen can't hurt. It's not stalemate. He can always move the a-pawn. All right, I'm not going to take it en passant. I'm just going to check him. Okay, and now it's mate in 2. We got about a billion mate in 2s. Do I have any mate in 1s? I don't think I have a mate in 1. All right, so if I play... Well, what am I thinking about? Just put him in check. And which mate do I want to play? Which mate? Which mate? All right, this one. Okay, so that's just about right for a video. All right, so let's review the game real quickly here. Let's do library. Sorry, not library. We want history. History, it's number 50. Examine 50. Okay, we'll turn on the engine so he can make fun of my game. All right, let's see here. So we'll at least go to where it got non-competitive. All right, so this is a normal opening. He should probably play d5, but you can see it's even. Game is about 0. That's why grandmasters don't play a lot of closed Sicilians, is because this kind of position is black's already pretty much equalized. Queen there, not his best move. Now I'm up by half a pawn. f4, Stockfish says, yeah, you should have just played knight f3. d6, knight f3, bishop there. Stockfish says I should give him the pawn with castles. For instance, let's take a look. Castle, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, rook to b1. And it says that with my bishop pair and my open lines and my lead in development, I'm up by 2.3 pawns. Wow. I thought I had enough compensation, but I didn't think I'd be like winning. All right, back to the game. So I play there. Stockfish says, well, that's good too. He plays there. I play knight d5. Stockfish says, that's the best move. Queen takes b2. I play rook b1. He takes there. I take. He takes. I take. He plays knight e7. Stockfish says I should play c3 and try to block in the bishop. Or knight g5. I played c4. Certainly good enough to win. Knight f6. Castle. Now he should castle and get his king out of there. You saw what happened when he let me pin him. So he plays there. Stockfish says I should check with the queen. Whoops, queen a4 check. I pin the knight. Stockfish says I'm up 4.5. Bishop checks. As I said in the video, maybe king f1 is the safer place. b5. Now I thought queen e2 was going to win a pawn. Stockfish says queen b1 is even better. Queen e2. Yeah, I'm up by about 6 pawns either way. Knight back. Pawn takes. Good idea, Dan. Rook b8. Stockfish says I should play queen to d1. So if he plays rook takes b5, I have queen a4 or something. I play a4. Rook there. Stockfish likes me to play queen e4 or bishop e3. I play h3. He takes. That's his best move. Bishop takes. King f8 getting out of the pin. Stockfish likes bishop a5 already. I played g4 first. Not quite as good, but still winning. Rook over. g5, best move. Rook back. Now Stockfish says I should play f5 and sack the pawn. Interesting. I played bishop there first. He plays knight there. Now Stockfish says I should let him fork my queen. Wow. Says I should play bishop c7 right away. And then after he forks the queen and takes my queen, I have bishop takes d6 check, king e8, rook takes e7 check, king moves, bishop takes a8, which is even better than the game. All right, so saving my queen was a mistake. I play there. Stockfish says, ooh, you're only up 5 pawns instead of 7. He plays there. Now Stockfish says I should play bishop to e4 or even sack the queen again for the 2 pieces. Sacking the queen for the 2 pieces is kind of fun. I play bishop there. He plays check. Stockfish says king to g1 is the right square. I play king to g2. Says after knight e3 check, I'm only up 7 pawns. King f3. Bishop takes. Now it says I should play queen h2, hitting the pawn. Didn't look at that move. I play bishop c7. Stockfish says, yeah, you're only up 7 pawns. Rook e8. Bishop checks. Knight e7. And now my move h4, best move. Yay! He takes. Queen takes e3, of course. Bishop takes e1. Queen takes e1. Now I'm up by almost 10 pawns. f6. Bishop d7, best move. King f7. Queen e6 check, best move. King there. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Bishop takes, and you don't need to see the rest. Okay, so you get an insight in these games into seeing how a master thinks, even a really old master like me. It gets to be more and more of a challenge to beat even the mid-level computers as you get older, but hopefully I never get so old that I lose most of my games to Beth-O. Then I know my brain's really getting in trouble. All right, so if you haven't told your friends about the This YouTube channel, it's Dan Heisman Chess. That's the best thing you can do, is tell your friends. If not, you want to just like the video, great. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, we have over 220 videos on how to get better at chess. And we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.